Week 4, recovering a sense of integrity. This week may find you grappling with changing self-definition. The essays, tasks, and exercises are designed to catapult you into productive introspection and integration of new self-awareness. This may be both difficult and extremely exciting for you. Warning, do not skip the tool of reading deprivation. I did not read in week 4. So yeah, week 4, first of all, this is going to be a quick one because I've been kind of very engaged in life. So I've been still doing my artist recovery, but I didn't record my week 4 video, and it's week 6. So I'm recording my week 4 and week 5 video in one video. So starting with week 4, on week 4, I made some very spontaneous decisions. Like, it says that you'll be, where does it say? Grappling, this week you may find you grappling with changing self-definition. That has definitely been happening. I randomly signed up for a half marathon because of the fact that I actively say that I'm not a runner because I don't like to run. I love fitness, but running is just not my thing, or wasn't my thing. And neither is stand-up comedy. But I randomly had the impulse to sign up for both of those things during week 4, a stand-up comedy workshop and a half marathon that I successfully ran in week 5, which I'll get to. But yeah, I'm gonna make separate videos on how I trained for the half marathon and also what I learned during the half marathon, because I also learned a lot both training for and learning and running the half marathon. So it was a very interesting experience. Week 4 and week 5 have been pretty monumental in my artist recovery. I still have not been making art because, like I said, it has been very interesting, but I feel like I don't necessarily feel like I'm still in a creative block. I feel like I can create now, which is nice, but I just haven't started creating again. But I've been living creatively, which is what the book is essentially telling you to do. So here are a couple of passages that I highlighted in the week 4 chapter. At the root of a successful creative recovery is the commitment to puncture or denial, to stop saying it's okay when in fact it's something else. The morning pages press us to answer what else. So essentially it's saying, like, when we have that response of it's okay or that's okay or I'm okay, there's usually an underlying feeling that I'm okay is masking, and masking it as I'm okay does not help with the recovery. Many tend to neglect or abandon the pages whenever an unpleasant piece of clarity is about to emerge. And this was an important one for me because when I first started this artist recovery, I loved doing the morning pages. The morning pages were amazing. I was enjoying them. But recently, I honestly think starting in week 4, one, I got busier and more sleep deprived since I've been training 2 days a week for both strength training and running, so for the half marathon. But also, like, I just haven't been feeling like writing them shits. Like, it's been annoying. But Julia says that many tend to neglect or abandon the pages when an unpleasant piece of clarity is about to emerge. And that's been interesting to me because I have been really, like, I've been avoiding my morning pages. I haven't written them. I wrote them today, but I haven't been writing them consistently for the past 2 weeks. I've only been writing them like a couple times a week. And also, I've been writing them at work, which is like in the morning, but not necessarily when I first wake up. So even when I have been writing them, I've been rarely writing them first thing in the morning like I'm supposed to. So I'm like, okay, I need to put the gas pedal on writing them so that I can uncover what this unpleasant piece of clarity is that is about to emerge. And honestly, I think I have uncovered it, but I'll save that for a later video just because I'm not sure if that's what it is yet. What else did I highlight in week 4? If you want to work on your art, work on your life. That's another way of saying that in order to have self-expression, we must first have a self to express. That was literally the driving factor behind what my creative block was. I had so little time because of work, and I just had so little time because of how much time in the day that work takes away from me, that I felt like every moment that I wasn't at work, I had to spend practicing my craft or creating. And if I wasn't doing any of those things, I was wasting time. And I was living like that for the past 4 years. And I was wondering why. Like I got to a moment where it just felt like I couldn't create anymore. And it's because it didn't really feel like I had a self to express anymore, because I literally just identified with work now. Everything felt like work. Creating felt like work. Work felt like work. Practicing felt like work. And I wasn't necessarily living a life that was inspiring. So that quote was very powerful for me, and I highlighted it, and it's honestly been it's kind of like my new mantra, but at the same time, my old self is still very much there. And it's like, okay, well, you still haven't made shit though. So is this actually working, or are you just procrastinating? So that's the internal struggle right now. Next quote that I highlighted: the process of identifying a self inevitably involves loss as well as gain. I literally just said that. Like, the process of identifying a self, like the self that I'm identifying now, is contradictory to the self that I've been for the past 4 years, and where I've just been grinding, work harder. So it's like I'm losing that self while gaining a new self. And maybe I'm combining both, which will make me the ultimate life form, like Shadow the Hedgehog. All right, so eliminate something superfluous from your life. Break a habit, do something that makes you feel insecure. Stand-up comedy make you feel insecure. Running a half marathon, as somebody who's never ran more than 3 to 5 miles, will also make you feel insecure. These are things that I've been doing. Okay, so as we gain or regain our creative identity, we lose the false self we are sustaining. The loss of this false self can feel traumatic. I don't know who I am anymore. I don't recognize me. These are things that I've kind of been saying already, but it doesn't necessarily feel traumatic. It just feels like kind of scary, like a new way of thinking, even though it feels like I've thought like this all along. But I needed to learn how to be the opposite so that I could truly reach my final form, is what it feels like. It feels like just, what got you to this level is not necessarily what's going to get you to the next level. Oh, this is a good one. One of the clearest signals that something healthy is afoot is the impulse to weed out, sort through, and discard old clothes, papers, and belongings. I've literally have thrown out, and I haven't had the chance to go shopping, but I've thrown out so many clothes and so many things since I've started this artist recovery. And this is something that I do often. So one thing that I like that is reassuring as I read this book is that a lot of these habits that it kind of encourages you to do, I already do. Like, I've already been doing for a while, which reassures me that yes, I am an artist, but I recently am like, it feels like I'm really like coming into my new self and like shedding my old self, not completely, but just the old self that's not serving me anymore to get to the next level. And so like I've been doing things like I'm throwing a lot of shit out. I'm furnishing my apartment, which is something that I haven't done because I didn't allow myself to even feel accomplished by achieving that milestone, which was a major milestone of mine. Since, like, for the past 4 years, it's been a major milestone of mine to reach that level of like just having my own spot, like no roommates, just me. And I reached that achievement, and immediately I was like, but it's not a luxurious penthouse that's on the 20-something floor overlooking the water, you know? And so I just went back to just working without even giving myself the opportunity to do so, the opportunity to furnish my apartment. But like, that's one of my toxic habits that have definitely come to the light ever since I've started this artist recovery or creative recovery. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. I'm not going to elaborate on that one. Just think about it. When the search and discard impulse seizes you, two cross currents are at work. The old you is leaving and grieving, while the new you celebrates and grows strong. As with any rupture, there is both tension and relief. Long-seated depression breaks up like an ice flow. Long frozen feelings thaw, melt, cascade, flood, and often overrun their container, you. You may find yourself feeling volatile and changeable. You are. That's what I've been saying I've been feeling. Think of yourself as an accident victim walking away from a crash. All right, that one doesn't really... Let's see. Yeah, so basically there's more, but like I don't want to spend too much time reading all of these. And the exercises were cool. Reading deprivation, which is basically do not read and just sit with your thoughts. I think my reading deprivation was okay, but I still feel like I spent too much time on social media. All right, now as for week 5, let's jump into week 5. Also, my artist dates, I just considered my artist dates my half marathon training. So I have to go in a second. So week 5, you will examine the cost of settling for appearing good instead of being authentic. One of the chief barriers to accepting God's generosity is our limited notion of what we are in fact able to accomplish. Expect your every need to be met. So basically, week 5 is about recovering a sense of possibility and reworking our idea of God and who God is and what God can do for us. It says here, we come to recognize that God is unlimited in supply and that everyone has equal access. Not everyone believes that. So another thing is ask yourself bluntly, what next steps are you evading? What dream are you discounting as impossible given your resources? What payoff are you getting for remaining stuck at this point in your expansion? Because pretty much every every creative block, there's a benefit. There's a benefit to us to be blocked creatively. A benefit being comfort. I found that one of mine is the benefit of being blocked creatively is avoiding two things: the criticism of others of my art, and which leads to the negative feeling of me, like I have this deep depression after I work really hard on a project and I put it out and it's not received in a way that I feel like it is like justifiable or whatever. I feel like it deserved more credit or whatever. I go through this like deep depression, and not creating protects me from those two feelings. And I've noticed that maybe that could be the reason. But overall, week 5 was just training for the half marathon. And again, when I come out with the video for the half marathon, I'm gonna link it here when I talk about what I learned, because that's gonna be kind of like a part 2 for week 5. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about week 4 and week 5. Great weeks. Moving forward, I'm gonna make sure that I stay on track and do this every week instead of combining weeks, because I feel like it makes the experience a little bit less accurate. But now I am on week 6, and week 6 is actually my favorite chapter right now, or rather the chapter that I feel like is most meaningful to me, and I'll talk about it in my week 6 video on Saturday. It's called Recovering a Sense of Abundance. This week you tackle a major creative block: money. Yes. You are asked to really look at your own ideas around God, money, and creative abundance. The essay will explore the ways in which your attitudes limit abundance and luxury in your current life. You will be introduced to counting, a block-busting tool for clarity and right use of funds. I can't read right now. This week may feel volatile. Cool. All right, y'all. Peace.